I teased some Amico news. I teased some Amico news the other day. And guys, we got it. We got some Amico news. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've talked about Amico on this channel, since I've talked about Amico. Not Intellivision Amico, because as you know, Atari owns the Intellivision name. It's theirs, lock, stock, and barrel. And recently, Atari released a video for an upcoming game called Breakout. Breakout Beyond, which is made by Choice Provisions, which was the same company making the Breakout game for the Intellivision Amico, a game that was said to only be playable on the Intellivision Amico. You couldn't make this game for any other system. Tommy said this game was made specifically for the Intellivision Amico hardware, that it would not run on any other hardware. You would not be able to play it with any other controller. And then he released a demo for Windows in which you could use your mouse to play the game, which was odd, but his fans let him get away with it. They thought nothing of it. I got the demo. It was a little busy. It was fine for what it was. It's Breakout. It wasn't nothing too great. It was sideways Breakout. Like I said, it was a little busy, but the sound, the look, the music, all that was great, right? But it never got released because obviously the Amico never got released, but also Breakout never got released because after Intellivision sold their IP, sold their name to Atari, the Amico Home, which is the mobile version of the Intellivision Amico console, again, these guys were saying for the longest, it had to be a console. It couldn't be mobile. We couldn't put these games on phones. They couldn't be played anywhere else. They had to be played with the controller. All that shit went out the window. They got a mobile app that you have to download to play games, but then you have to download a second app on a second phone to use the controller. The controller is not even built into the gaming app. It's a separate app. So you need two apps. You need two phones to play Amico Home. And you can connect that to your TV. So you can basically turn your phone into an Amico and then your other phone into an Amico controller, which is crazy when you go back and listen to Tommy saying for the longest how none of this was possible, how you couldn't do that. Again, you needed an Amico, all this patent pending hardware, all this special bells and whistles that was only available through his system. But yeah, so now we got Atari's Breakout Beyond. It's coming on every console except the Amico Home. Guys, the game that was originally made for an Amico hardware has now been released for every system except for anything related to the Amico. And of course, John Alvarado on the Discord, he had a message. He wanted to talk about it because apparently this caused quite a controversy, a little bit of a stir among the Amico loyalists, right? The crazy diehard cultists that are still fighting the console wars. They're still out there in the trenches defending the Amico, right? They're like Japanese soldiers on these remote islands who thinks World War II is still going on. These little Amico-lites, they're a little upset. They get, their panties got a little bit of in a wad. So Johnny Alvarado, Mustache Man himself, says, Atari's Breakout announcement has caused quite a stir. Some of the comments are veering off topic for this Discord, but it's understandable. I'll just clear up some things for the record. Oh, yeah. If you're not aware, the Discord for the Amico is like specialty, invite only, super secret, hush hush. You can't get in there. And you're not allowed to ask any questions. You're not allowed to question any decisions. You're not allowed to say anything that has any sort of negative connotation. This is, everything is great. Everything is fine. The Amico is fantastic. It's the best thing in the world. No dissension will be tolerated. Right? This is Baghdad Bob levels of everything's all right as missiles are exploding in the background. He goes on to say, Atari owns the Breakout intellectual property, IP. They always have. Intellivision Entertainment licensed the IP from Atari to develop a modern version of Breakout specifically for Amico. We hired Choice Provisions to develop the product, and much progress was made, as seen in the Breakout gameplay video that was published on YouTube. It was a work in progress at the time, and Tommy clearly states that in the video. We now, Amico Entertainment, still have the license to publish an Amico version of Breakout. That is all I will say about Breakout. So, Johnny here He's basically saying that they never finished the game, which is weird. Why would Choice Provisions, a reputable company, right? They've made a lot of good games, the Bit Trip series being among them. But Choice Provisions made this game, but they didn't finish it. Progress was made, much progress was made, but they didn't finish it. Now the game, which is identical to the game shown off by Intellivision, now that this game, Breakout Beyond, is finished and being published by Atari, but John's not talking about why. Why would that be? It's almost like Intellivision Entertainment, which is now Amico Entertainment, never paid Choice Provisions to develop the game. They gave them maybe a little retainer fee or a little upfront money. Here's a couple of bucks up front to start the process. Then at some point, they stopped paying developers. They stopped paying these people. It was all smoke and mirrors. John scrambling. This whole trying to cobble together some things for the Amico Home. All of this is to cover up the 100% verifiable fucking scam that was the Intellivision Amico. There never was a fucking point to this console. There was never intentions to make a console. More and more, as we go through the years, we're finding out information that leads me to 100% believe that this was all a scam in order to sucker some bigger company into buying this fucking lemon, right? They created all this hype, all this facade, all this fakery, a Potemkin console, if you will, right? In order to trick some bigger company to buy it, to make it, produce it, and then they would wash their hands of it and run away with a bunch of money. Because it makes no sense that if you're developing this console, you paid them an upfront fee to start development of a game. Why, if you raised $17 million, did Choice Provisions not receive the full amount of funding for the game? Why did Choice Provisions have to pay for the development of the game themselves? As they've stated in video on a podcast, Choice Provisions themselves had to finish funding the game in order to complete it, and at which point the game was theirs to do it as they pleased, and they approached Atari and said, hey, we got this game that Tommy didn't pay for, that Intellivision never paid for. We have it. We developed it. We started it. They gave us a little money to start it. They said, hey, we want a Breakout game. Can you do it? And we did it. And then they didn't pay us. So now we have this game. Would you like it, Atari? Because you're the guys who own the IP. And Atari said, yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it and we'll publish it. But Johnny here is not talking about that. I wonder why. I wonder why. He goes on to finish up. He says, since we are currently only publishing Amico games for Amico Home until the console comes out, guys, he's still perpetuating the lie that there's a console coming. There's a console coming. It's going to be here. 10/10/2020 was almost 5 years ago. This is going on the 5th year post release date, right? Where there's nothing to show. The fake unboxing video. I have a plastic shell, empty plastic shell. I know some people who had development kits, quote unquote, right? But there's nothing. There's nothing proprietary. There's no fucking trademarks. They don't own any fucking IPs. They have nothing. And yet they're still perpetuating this myth, this lie, this scam. Probably because lawsuits can still be pending, right? They probably haven't hit that clear zone. They haven't got the all clear from the lawyers to go, okay, you can drop it now. You can stop pretending the window of lawsuits is over, right? We fulfilled our obligations in order to not be sued, and we can run away with the money. Each game has to be ported from the Amico console version, which takes time and money. Well, John, again, this is a lie because there is no Amico version of Breakout. Choice Provisions has stated unequivocally they never finished the game under the Amico banner, under the Intellivision deal. They had to, after the fact, put their own money into it and finish the game on their own. There's no Amico version. There never was an Amico version. The version that we all saw was made on Windows, hardware. It was made on a PC. It was never even made for the Amico. It was never even developed for the Amiga. It was developed for PC. That's why you were able to get a PC demo of the game. It says, the games we have published so far on Amico Home were selected for a combination of reasons, aiming to optimize the benefits for dollars spent. What you mean is that the games that you've published so far on Amico Home either were A, demos that you paid for, which was the not Crisscross Crash, what the hell is it called? Sideswipers. The Sideswipers demo that you bought that then passed off as a full game that you released on the Amico Home. And the other games that were, again, cobbled together by other companies. You know, you licensed Shark to BBG and allowed them to finish the game and then take it elsewhere. Shark is going to be available on all the major consoles coming up. This is what I've heard, if it hasn't been announced already officially. Other people paid for these games to be finished, and then you just snuck them on your little Amico Home. Bravo. Says we've published 7 games so far, with an additional 2, Finnegan Fox and Evel Knievel, coming very soon. Evel Knievel might be, because Evel Knievel was originally a mobile game, right? That they reskinned. Finnegan Fox wasn't a mobile game. And from my understanding, speaking with the developers directly, it's not ready. And the developers of Finnegan Fox, they already returned their development kit. The Amico development kit that was given to the Finnegan Fox people, they don't have it no more. So I don't think they'll be finishing anything if it's not already done, right? It says, beyond that, I will announce new games here when they enter external testing for Amico Home. Thanks for your patience. Another game that I spoke to the developers on was Backtalk Party, and I'm pretty sure that one is also never going to be on Amico Home. Funny that. But this is from a couple of days ago, right? But John had a different statement a while back. Let's see what John's statement was before. So this is from 12/19/2023, right? A little over a year ago. John Alvarado. He says, Breakout is still a ways off. We are trying to pick up where we left off on all the games that were in development to get them on Amico Home. Some developers don't have the bandwidth at the moment. They don't have the bandwidth. Guys, Breakout falls into that category, but we hope that will change at some point and we'll eventually get Breakout published on Amico Home. Guys, John Alvarado on 12/19/2023 lied to his fans, lied to the people waiting for this Breakout game to come on the Amico Home. He claimed that Choice Provisions didn't have the quote-unquote bandwidth. No, what John really meant when he says bandwidth, he meant payment. They didn't have the payment. They didn't get paid. That's why there was no game to port. It's funny how suddenly they have the bandwidth to put Breakout Beyond onto all the major consoles, on Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo. Even Atari VCS is getting a Breakout game. So I don't think it was a bandwidth issue there, Johnny. It says the games we have been able to publish on Amico Home and will publish soon are the ones that were completed and for which I have the source project so that I can do the porting work. So I think that we're completed is really telling back then. Even in 2023, John was pretty much admitting Breakout wasn't finished for the Amico. It's sad, guys. All you people who still have money in the Amigo, all you people who, after all these years, are still hanging on, need to give it up. You need to tell John, we are suing you. Class action lawsuit for the lies, for the mistruths. The window is closing, right? The window of opportunity to get your money back, to sue these people, for these people to be held criminally responsible for lying and scamming. That window is closing really fucking fast. And they're going to get away with it, right? And I said this for the longest time, where people were like, oh, no, it's going to end with Tommy being dragged away in handcuffs. And, the entire Intellivision team was going to go to jail. And I said, no, it's never going to happen because people are going to enable this. People are going to allow them to get away with this, right? All these companies, all these people. And, Choice Provisions, I'm sure you guys are fantastic people. But you're enablers just as much as the fucking fans, okay? You didn't come out and say, hey, they stopped paying us. They're lying to the fans. They're lying to people about what our involvement is with the system. They're parading our game as if it's a full game. They're parading our game around as if this is a thing that's really coming to the system. You allowed this to happen. You allowed your name to be attached to a fucking scam. And even now, when people are asking about it, when they're asking questions about what happened, you're being real fucking coy. You're being real fucking careful about what you're saying, as if Tommy Tallarico or fucking Intellivision, Amico Entertainment, whatever the fuck they're calling themselves now, have any power, have any ability to fucking hurt you. They don't. Tommy is a washed up nobody who has lied his way to prominence and has been exposed several times, countless fucking times, as a fucking liar and credit stealer. Okay. Amico Entertainment has no money. There's no backing. And I'm pretty sure that the people that could actually sue them for the most money, that, you know, the Indian gentleman, I forget his name at the moment, but the guy who put all that money in it, I'm pretty sure he would love to hear from you, Choice Provisions, so you could tell him exactly what it was they told you, what sort of scam they were running on you, so that way he can in turn sue Tommy and all these fucks and send a message to the fucking community that we're not going to tolerate this bullshit, right? But hey, I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy on the internet with a microphone who uncovers all this bullshit, who points out all the lies and all the scams and all the rhetoric. I can't actually do anything. There's nothing that I can do, right? But again, there's a lot of things you guys can do. And I know some of you developers watch. I know, because some of you developers have contacted me. Some of you developers have emails with me, right, where you've discussed things, where we've talked about this project, right? So I know you're listening. And I know that you can reach out to the proper authorities. You can reach out to people who should be informed that this was a giant fucking scam from day one. Tommy Tallarico lied to the widow Robinson to get his hands on the Intellivision IP. He then lied to the gaming community. He lied to game developers. And he lied to the general public and a bunch of old people. And that's a fucking trade. Tommy lied to a bunch of old people to take their money, their retirement funds, right? There's a bunch of people who are going to be missing their retirement, who are going to have to work for the rest of their lives, who are going to have to go move in with their families because they can't afford their homes anymore. There's a bunch of people who have been swindled and taken advantage of. And you guys at Choice Provisions and the other companies that, you know, got your names attached to Tommy's scam, you're all letting this happen. You guys are just as fucking responsible. And you make me just as sick as Tommy Tallarico does. And, you know, yeah, Atari Creep and fucking Mike Mullis and all you guys, you know, your little fucking dev units, open that fucker up. Crack those fucking dev units up and expose Tommy Tallarico, John Alvarado, Bill Adam as the fucking chameleon, you know, the Calico Chameleon 2 team that they are, that we all know they are. Because when you crack those bad boys open, when you show what's inside those test units, you are going to expose the mountains of lies that they've been telling. You're going to expose that they never had anything close to what they claimed. And again, all of this was just a scam to raise money and then ditch this project on somebody, to drop a lemon on another company. But hey, none of that's going to happen. It's all wishful thinking. And we're just going to be sitting here laughing as, again, you know, Mike Mullis is shouting about how fake journalists are exposing the Intellivision Amico and how Tommy's the victim. And John Alvarado is doing the best that he can with the little resources he has left. 17 million fucking dollars down the drain for one man's retarded fucking ego.